Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ladies Power Lunch. Thank you so much for joining us today. Yes, it is true. Free Gift Friday is back. And today we have a very special guest, Teresa Hnat. Teresa works a lot with her clients with confidence and with getting their images for their images for their websites and social media organized, and also video for whatever video needs you might have. She's going to be talking to us today a little bit about some of the main things that clients come to her for, and some of the things that we are all doing wrong and that we could be doing so much better and getting so much greater response from our clients, from our prospective clients, if we just make these little shifts. I think this is going to be a great conversation for you. I know for sure it's going to be a great conversation for me, because I can't wait to find out all the things that I've been doing wrong. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I want to say hi to everybody who's joining us over in the Ladies Power Lunch Facebook group. If you are joining this on the replay, just type #replay in the chat. If you're joining us live, drop a comment to let us know that you're here with us. And if you're watching with us on our YouTube channel, or if you are catching us on our podcast, welcome. We're so happy to have you. One little piece of housekeeping I just want to get out of the way before we get started is that if you're not already a part of this amazing group that is Ladies Power Lunch, I invite you. Come on over, join us. We are committed to really being supportive of female entrepreneurs, women in business, in a collaborative way. We're here to provide a safe space for collaboration. And so if you feel like the thing that you do could use some support from women who want to support other women, come join us. All you have to do is go to growsmarternotharder.com/Facebook and you'll find us. We'll welcome you in with open arms. We can't wait to meet you. Okay, on with the show. Hi, Teresa. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining us. May I invite you to share with everybody, who are you and what wonderful things are you doing in the world?
So thank you so much, first of all, for having me on the show. I always love being here. And I'm a photographer and videographer, and I own Teresa Hnat Studio. I offer small businesses modern branding sessions and marketing solutions that the goal is to save them time and eliminate the frustration they have around branding and marketing their businesses.
That's great. That's amazing. I want to say hi to Kim, who's watching with us over in Facebook. Thanks so much for joining. I want to ask you, Teresa, what's the number one thing that brings people to your doorstep? Who are the ideal people who would search out your services?
So I work mainly with service-oriented businesses, so not so much businesses that sell a product. It's businesses that really, you're kind of selling yourself when you have a service business, because people are going to be working with you. And the whole point of branding is to introduce your potential clients to you. So by the time they're ready to book, they already have a sense of who you are, and they feel confident in that decision of pushing that book now button. I have niched down a little, and I really want to work with more therapists, because they have a very unique set of kind of guidelines in which they can and cannot market their businesses. So I really enjoy working with them, and a lot of them struggle with attracting the right kind of people to them, and they walk that fine line of still needing to be very professional, but they don't want to come across as like clinical and stuffy. So that's where I come in. I help them find that nice balance.
So you're helping our clients who are looking for us, who are losing sleep at night, who really, really need the services that we provide, to find us and to make a connection with us ahead of actually meeting us, so that they can make a decision as to whether, you know what, do I like this person? Do I trust this person? Do I even want to get to know this person? And I think that's really, really valuable. It's also important, I think, to, this is a buzzword that we use a lot in this community, get that authenticity in the branding, because there is so much fake out there on social media. There's so much fake out there on people's websites, and being able to translate authenticity into your branding is going to be a really, really big deal. So people will be able to say, you know what, I feel like I trust this person. Let me pick up the phone and call, or let me click that buy now button. So I mentioned at the top that you're going to disabuse us of some of the ideas that we have had about marketing our businesses. That's been totally, totally wrong. What are some of the things that you've seen us doing and you're like cringing, like, oh my gosh, don't do that anymore?
So one of the things that I've really went back and revisited this year, even in my own business, because I completely fell victim to this kind of a mindset, was the need to overcomplicate everything and to stand out by being super crafty and cunning and creative. But in the end, people don't want crafty, cunning, and creative to a sense. They want it to be clear. Clarity is above everything else. If people don't understand what it is you do, they're not going to book with you. You don't want to, and they shouldn't have to think hard about it. So I think that's one of the biggest pitfalls many of us fall into, is almost overthinking things too much and using verbiage or images that just don't really clarify and clearly say what it is we do. And then people who visit our websites or social media get confused and they don't want to think about it. So they'll just leave and go find someone else.
So you're saying clarity over crafty.
And it's, it stinks because, like, as someone who likes to be very creative, it's frustrating, but it is very true. I mean, people don't want to have to work hard to get something, especially if they're going to pay for it. Like, it should be easy for them. And if they're having to try to figure out what it is you're offering and what it is you do, they're going to go away because there's just too much time and effort involved for them.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of likes when you're talking about that. Wendy Lee is saying yes to clarity. Christine is saying that makes so much sense, Teresa. People are really resonating with that idea. Can you share with us, just like, give us a little advice about how to walk that line between being crafty? Because most of us in this group, we're creatives. Most of us watching this YouTube show or tuning into this podcast really do have a significant level of creativity. So how can we walk this fine line between clarity and creativity?
So I think that's the balance of words versus images or videos. So any wordage on your website or your social media should be clear as day, clear as can be. Like for mine, I was saying soulful brand photographer. Well, what does that even mean? Like, I know what it means, but like, you'll have to sit there and really think about it. Now it just says modern branding solutions or something. Like, it's very clear and very to the point. So that's the clarity part. Your words are just very clear and concisely saying what you do, what you offer, and how it helps that person. Because in the end, it's all about them. And then your images on your site, video or photos, that's where the creativity and the personality really comes into play.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. So we're trying to make sure that we are very, very clear with our verbiage, but we're using the medium of photography and videography to get the personality to shine through. That makes sense. All right. So I have your number one tip: clarity over crafty. What else can we do better?
I think we have to be kind to ourselves. This was another thing I really learned this year. When we first start out, or even if we're a couple years into business, we feel this need and pressure to have everything figured out. Like, we need to know who our target client is, and it needs to be this, and our brand should be figured out, and we're never going to change it. And like, that's completely false. Like, it's just, your brand is always going to be changing because you're always going to be changing, and you're not going to know who your target audience is immediately. You're going to have to work with numerous people to really start to even get a sense of who it might be. And then you have to work with more people to really start refining. And even when you do find your target audience, 3 years from now, it could completely change. It's just like, it's not set in stone. And I think a lot of us feel like it is or needs to be, but it does not.
So you're saying that our brand is always evolving. What's a mistake that you actually physically see people making when it comes to not giving themselves time for their brand evolving? Is it that they're trying to do too much too soon? Is it that they're holding back from doing the things that they should be doing? What are you really seeing?
I think the biggest thing I see is, and when I say target audience, you should have kind of some sense of it, but it doesn't need to be completely refined. So every client pretty much that I have worked with, when I ask them who their target client is, they say women. Well, that's still really big. And I get like, you might not know exactly every demographic, that's fine. But like you need to niche it down or get it down a little bit more, because when you're talking to everybody, you're talking to nobody. It's very difficult to write a newsletter or a blog or social media content when you're trying to think about everybody. Like even in my own business, the advice I would give to someone who sells product is very different than the advice I would give someone who has a service industry. And then even with the therapist, the advice I give them is totally different, because there's things they can and cannot do in their marketing that other people can do, like testimonials. So when I was trying to speak to everybody, nothing got through because it was just too broad and nobody connected. So having some sense is important, but you don't have to have like every detail figured out immediately.
Having some sense, you don't have to figure out all the details. Be sure that you're niching down and remember that your brand is always evolving. Those are some really, really solid tips. Uh, what else? What else are we doing? How else are we shooting ourselves in the foot?
I think a lot of us have gotten bullied into, and oh man, there's going to be people that don't like me for saying this, but I'm going to say it, that we've been bullied into thinking that social media is the only way to market your business. And we need to be on there every day creating content, and it needs to be amazing content and yada, yada, yada. Meanwhile, their websites are like 3 years outdated. They don't have current pricing or services. Like they made the website when they started and they've never gone back and revisited it. But the problem is the point of social media is to drive people to the website. So if your website isn't really clear and set up well and doesn't hold people's attention, then all the social media stuff was for nothing, because the website sucked and people left, and now they're not going to follow you anymore on social media either. So really going back to the basics and looking at your website is really important. I think a lot of us have kind of forgotten. We've gotten so caught up with social media.
So, okay, this makes it really tricky. It feels now like it's a lot. You're saying go back to basics. So if I were going to go back to basics, where would I start? What exactly would my trajectory be?
I think taking a look at your website, making sure the homepage of any other page, your homepage is the most important page on the site. Making sure it's very clearly stated what it is you do, and more importantly, how you help other people. Like what will they gain from working with you? Because in the end, that's what they want to know, is how you will help them and how their lives will be better once you have helped them. And then having like an opt-in on that page, and the opt-in should tie back into the things that you're offering. So one of your packages or a product, that opt-in should tie into that. It shouldn't be something like, my opt-in shouldn't be 5 self-care tips, because that has nothing to do with what it is I'm offering. Mine is about website photos, the photos you need to have for your brand, which makes sense because that is what I do.
That makes sense. So you say go back to basics, start with your website, look at your website, home page and see what's there. And this is really important, guys. I'm going to tell you a true story. True story. This week, one of our members needed I needed something from her. And so instead of reaching out and calling her, because oh my goodness, I'm sure she got too many calls this week. Instead of doing that, I thought to myself, let me just check her website. Here's the thing about her website, though. It was not informative. It really didn't provide me with the information that I need. Not only that, I thought to myself, okay, let me check her opt-in. True story. Teresa and I didn't have this conversation ahead of time. I checked her opt-in and I was like, okay, doesn't seem like it relates back to what she's doing now. And it made me wonder if she created that opt-in when her business was in transition and maybe she just hasn't updated it over time. Where did I end up finding information about her that was relevant? On social media. Her social was fully updated and I was able to get what I needed, didn't need to call her. She doesn't even know that I was looking for her. And I was finally able to reach out to her today and get what I needed because she does actually offer the thing that I want. So you don't know when people are looking at your stuff and you want to make sure. I think the 5 tips that you've given us, make sure that we're focused on clarity, make sure that our brand is always evolving and that we're making sure that we're keeping up with that, define our niche, and remember that social media isn't everything. And then the 5th thing is get back to basics with our website. All great stuff, just really great information. What are some of the do's and don'ts that you would say we should all be really taking into consideration as we define our optimal brand?
So I think I do want to say it is important to really take a look at where your people are coming from. If 95% of your clients are coming from social media, then yes, it makes sense to focus on that more than the website. For therapists, most people don't go to Instagram and look for a therapist. They go to Google. So that's why for them, the website is very important. So really for any of your brand, like for any brand, you should be tracking where people are coming from, because then that helps you know where you should be investing more time. And I think another huge thing I've learned over the past few years is the importance of testimonials, but not, yes, they help sell your services, but they also are a great way to gain information about your clients and the types of people you want to work with. If you're struggling with pain points, ask your clients. They will tell you. Ask the ones that you want more of. That has been like a huge game changer for me, was just having calls with people and asking what are you struggling with in your business? What holds you back? What keeps you up at night? And it's really clarified so much. And I know a lot of us, I think we're afraid to ask, but ask, because that's how you'll get the information you need.
I love that bonus reminder. Ask your clients, ask the best ones that you want more of. That was something back when I was really focused on building my patient care practice. One of the things I would do once in a while is those patients who are like the best besties, the ones that when I look on the schedule and I see that they're coming in, would bring a smile to my face. Those clients, those patients, I would reach out to them and say, hey, you want to stop in for coffee one morning? Usually, in our less busy time, want to stop in for coffee one morning? And they would love to come have coffee with me. And I'd invite them into my office and we'd have a chat. And I'd say, you're really the kind of person that I would love to have just a whole practice full of people like you. What is it that you get the most from me? What is it that you like the most about this practice? What is it that you don't like so much? And that's helped us to really change things over the years to be more patient focused. what is it that brought you here in the first place? How did you find us? And didn't have to do this necessarily for too many of our patients, but the information that I was able to get from that was so valuable and so valid that it's actually been helping us to have the building blocks of what our practice stands for, what our values are, what's important to us, how we structure our patient care experience, which has probably ended up becoming really different from other patient care experiences. Like we have one patient in at a time. We do not let our patients wait too long because patients, I've been a patient once back in the day. Okay, I'm still a patient, but I don't like waiting for ever. It's a problem. And if we're not going to be able to be on time, we give a call ahead to let people know, hey, we're running XYZ minutes behind. Would you like to still come in, or would you like to reschedule? Things like just little things that you might not think about, but they mean a lot to your clients. And if you're addressing those, it'll be dynamite. And one thing that I know for sure is that word of mouth referral business is the strongest kind of business that you can get in your practice, because that's the kind of business that stays and also brings more clients in.
It's true. And I think that's another important thing to remember when marketing ourselves. Again, depending on what kind of business you have, but social media is not the be all end all. So networking has been what has brought me most of my clients, networking and referrals. Granted, I am like a locally based and sourced business, so I'm not looking for people all across the country, but there's so many options now for networking across the country. Like I wouldn't write it out.
There are tons of opportunities for networking. And, if you have the opportunity to network online, if you have the opportunity to network in person, and let me just put a plug in here for those of you who would like to join us in person or virtually for Ladies Power Lunch Fall Summit, on which Teresa will be one of our presenters. Please do go to growsmarternotharder.com/ticket. We are still in the early bird ticket phase. That's going to end on August 31st, and the regular price tickets will go on sale on September 1st. So if you want to get those early bird tickets, be sure to head on over there. The theme of our summit is Ignite Your Leadership. So just wanted to put a plug in there for Summit. So Teresa, before you go, just give us one last thing that you'd like for every one of us to remember. If we leave this conversation with nothing else, what do you want us to remember?
I'd say don't feel like you have to have everything done and everything figured out today. It's going to take time to do it. And even then it will evolve. So it's never going to be written in stone that this is your brand and these are your clients and these are your packages. Like that will all change as you evolve and grow. So try not to overwhelm yourself by trying to do everything, and get help where you can get help. I have gotten so much help in my business, and I would not be where I am without the help that I received. Yeah, it's really scary to invest in yourself and your business. Like it's terrifying, but every time I have invested, my business has grown in numerous ways because of that. So it's totally worth investing in yourself and your business.
Give us a homework assignment. Give us one thing that we can do over the course of the next week until we meet again for our Free Gift Friday. What's one thing that we can do, implement in our businesses this coming week to grow our brand?
I'm going to task everyone with either going to their website and looking at your header, or going to your social media like your LinkedIn or Instagram and looking at that little bio blurb and ask yourself, does this clearly say exactly what I do very clearly and how I help people? Because that information should be there immediately, because it's one of the first things people see it. If it's not saying what it is you do and how it helps people, then you need to change it.
I love that homework assignment. That is awesome. I'm sure we can all hop on that, and that'll be easy for us to do this week. And guys, there's going to be a test next week, so be sure Be sure you get your homework done. I'm not your teacher, but I am your teacher. Awesome. Teresa, you have a free gift for us today. And so I'm going to invite you to choose a number between 1 and 20 and let us know who our Free Gift Friday winner is today.
I'm going to say 15.
Our winner today is Nadine Keller. Congratulations, Nadine. You are our Free Gift Friday winner today. So excited that all of you are able to join us over on Facebook. For those of you who are catching us on the replay, so glad you're here. Anybody who's watching us on YouTube, or if you're catching us on our podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. We have some great comments over here in our Facebook group. Wendy Lee says the dog ate my homework. Congratulations, Nadine. You are today's Free Gift Friday winner. I'm going to post in the Ladies Power Lunch Facebook group, inviting you to connect with Teresa to claim your prize. And Teresa, what is it that Nadine has won today?
So I was giving away one website or social media audit, and I will go through and look at your visuals and videos and give you guidance as to what kinds of photos you should put where on your website, or if you don't have a website and just do social media, we'll look at your social media and talk about the kinds of videos you could be posting or the kinds of photos that will help grow your brand.
Awesome. I think this is going to be a really, really outstanding connection between you and Nadine. And I'm going to invite you too, because of course I know who Nadine is. I'm going to invite you too to give yourself the opportunity to be interviewed by Nadine, because she is currently interviewing entrepreneurs so that she can learn how her business can better support our community. So that's wonderful. Thanks everybody for tuning in today. This has been such a wonderful discussion. But I gotta say, whenever I have Teresa on the show, she's one of those people that I really look forward to having, because she always has such great tips for us, practical tips, things that we can implement right away to grow our businesses, grow our brands, grow our authenticity, and of course, grow our income and impact. Thanks everybody for joining in today. And I'll see you guys on the next show. Bye, everyone.
Bye.